good, no? So I need to know whether all of you guys already took the examination, or is there anyone out there who did not yet take the examination? Is there anyone? None? Okay, so I think everyone took already the examination, the prelim examination. And also, I would like to remind everyone that you need to accomplish all the seat work, the provided activity that is on our LMS. Simply because it might affect the computation of your prelim examination, your prelim grade. But then it would not lead to failure, no. Of course, the probability would be you would have a less grade, you would have a lower grade, okay, uh, compared to those who are finished and completed their activity, okay. But then anyway, this is just a reminder. If you have missed activities, if you have missed the prelim examination, just message me so that we could still adjust it. No, we could still adjust and open the activity. I'm giving you at least this until Monday. For those who missed the activity, just message me. If not, I'm going to compute already your grades, and then that would be already your prelim grades already, and that would be already final. So any additional to that would not be edited, and will just be carry over. Probably might just be carry over on the midterm period. Okay, so I think that is clear, right? If that is clear, please on the message box type yes, so that I know that you are interacting with me, even your mic is off. Okay, okay, good. Huh? Um, Also, I would ask you to type something on the chat box later on our recitation. I would just go back with your chats. No. Anyway, this session is recorded, so all you have to do is to just listen to it while I'm discussing, and then interactively type something on the chat box once I ask you to interact with me. Okay. I will not going to ask you to one by one recite for this time. Okay. Since this is a new lesson, I will be explaining it to you. Still, this is a concept. Okay. No need to worry. Uh, no laboratory activity, but then I would going to provide you a quiz later on uh, after our session. Okay, so after our session, I'm going to provide you a quiz, but not will not be uploaded within the day. So most probably you may took it, since it is Friday, you will took it Monday to Thursday next week. So you have a lot of time to take it Monday to Thursday. If not, that would be Tuesday to Friday again. Okay, so let's start. So this is our lesson 2. Previously, I already discussed the lesson 1, that it is consist of basic to computer. What is computer? The definition of computer. What are the different types of hardware, the software, the 10 commandments of being an IT or IT professional. So this time, we'll be discussing another concept. So this is the lesson 2 for introduction to computing. Okay, so for lesson 2, we'll be discussing different computer professions. So what would you be uh, later on if you graduated? What would you be later on if you finish your degree in IT? Okay? So can you type what would you be after your graduation? What is your aim? Would you be uh, in restaurant? Would you be in call center industry? Okay. Please type what you aim job after your degree? I'll give you 1 minute. Restaurant. Okay. Game dev or animator. I would be in the art field. Game developer, an animator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lima lang? I have 17 in my class. How about the others? Developer, game developer, IT instructor. Wow, that's ano ah. You want to be an IT instructor, okay? What else? Okay, so I guess most of you are in game development and then animation, no? So few, okay, so may nagsabi dito, restaurant. Why are you targeting the restaurant? Maybe you want to be an IT in the restaurant, but then uh, if you want to be in a restaurant, maybe you took related to it, no? Now, businessman, software developer, this could be good. Business in IT, yeah. Okay. Software developer, okay. So software engineer might be, those are the profession that might lead you in your course today. No? Now let's define what is profession. Okay, profession is a vocation requiring a high level of education and practical experience in the field. This is a paid occupation, especially one that involves prolonged training and the formal qualification. So profession is like when we say vocation, it's how do we say this? This is a function in in an echo which will you perform a particular task. So let's say, for example, um, if you are a doctor, your vocation is to save lives. Okay. So if you are an engineer, your vocation, let's say, if you are a civil engineer, your vocation is to build bridges, build skyscrapers, and so on. If you are a chemical engineer, your vocation might be discovering new medicine. If you are a scientist, your vocation is to discover new things. So, meaning, vocation is something to do with what you have learned for your past years. Okay, so if you are learning now how to deal with the computer behavior, how to do programming, drawing, okay, animating, creating assets in Unity, creating assets in Maya, creating assets in 3D Max, in Blender, there might be probability that your profession would be alike. Okay? So meaning, this would also be your paid occupation. When we say paid occupation, you will be paid based on your vocation. Okay, so if you've been in the game development or BSEMC, so most probably you are targeting to be a game developer or an animator. So that is your paid vocation. Okay, and you'll be that would be your occupation once you finish your degree. So that is the definition of a profession. Let me just F5 na nga lang natin. So, okay. Now, Computing profession. So when we say computing profession, it is a career in an information technology or IT field. So as I said earlier, computing profession or what you have now is any computing profession. What you have told to me earlier when you type what you want to be after 4 years, those are computing profession. Because it has something to do with computer. It is related to computer. It has something to do with computing. No? It has something to do with information technology. Regardless whether it is an animation, those are branches, those are sub branches of different IT field. You belong in IT field. Okay. So computing professional or a computer, and these are the a person working in the field of IT, a person who has undergone training in a computer-related colleges, universities, and computer institutes, a person who has an extensive knowledge in the area of computing. So these are just, again, definition of a computing profession or a computing professional. So you learned for 4 years. You enrolled in different universities, computer-related colleges, computer institutes, no? So you have an extensive knowledge in area of computing, so you will be a computing professional later on. Okay? So when we say computing professional, does it includes, of course, I don't disagree with the call center industry. Would that include call center industry? Are you uh, considered as computing professional? Yes or no? Type your answers. 10 seconds. Where's your answers? I don't see them. Where's your answers, guys? I don't see them. What is the question? Again, my question is, do call center agents considered as computing professional? Yes or no? Okay. Half-heartedly, yes. Half-heartedly, no. Okay, why? Because when you were in IT, when you are again, no, our definition of computer profession is you have learned it for 4 years. Tama? And you are using a computing device. Yes, call center industry do use as computing device, but then did you learn it from 4 years for 4 years? Are you programmed to do business customer relation for 4 years? If the answer is no, then this is not a computing profession. But if you are told and you're programmed to do in 4 years creating websites, creating animations, and if you land a job which is related to that, then it is yes. Okay? So, kaya ko sinabi, that's why I said earlier that half-heartedly, yes, we could consider this as computer profession because they use as a computer, but then most of it, hindi or not. Okay? So, continuing. So, fields that requires computer profession. So, these are the different fields that would require us Okay, that would require us. So these are the different fields that would require a computer professionals. No, okay. So first is the management, system development, programming. You have technical services, operations, training, and security. So these are the things. No, these are the fields that requires computer professionals. Okay. Uh, there might be additional to that like academe, no, yung mga ganon. But then these are the major that requires computer professional. Okay? So, ulit lang. What is happening? Is it so ulit siya? Okay. So, let's have management. Okay? So, the role of computer professional in the field is directing the planning, research, development, evaluation, and integration of technology. So in the field of management, computing professional might play a big part in planning and research and development. Why? Um, there might be a probability, or there are some instances that a computing professional do need to create decision support systems. What are this? Decision support systems would help the different managers, the different owners of the company to decide whether or not to do a particular decision. Let me give you an example. Um, let's say, for example, if you are aware of stocks, right? Stocks. Maybe you've heard stocks exchange or stocks exchange, no? Those are fund managers. They have different fund managers, but then they require IT professional to conduct planning, research for them to decide whether to invest or not to invest on a particular stocks. Okay? They use IT professional to develop a software that would allow them to decide, to compute for them, to decide for them, to suggest. Okay? So maybe currently you are not into stocks, but then later on, if you got a job, if you land a job, um, there might be a probability that you would engage in stock market, and then you'll see what I mean. You'll see different applications that would allow you to decide whether or not to buy a particular stocks or not. So those are example of management, and there are a lot more. Okay, there are a lot more. Okay, so chief information officer directs the company's information service and communication function. So this uh, this is a position. This is a position that might land you in the management side. Okay, meaning this is a job. Okay, so it's like the head of information officer, okay, or chief information. Nowadays, the term is called MIS, or Management Information System. Okay, department, and there is a head. So usually it is called uh, head or head of MIS, or uh, director. Director. Minsan kasi sometimes chief is not being used anymore. Okay? Instead of, they are using head or director. Okay? So you could be an e-commerce director. So supervises the development and execution of e-commerce system marketing division. Um, Lazada is, Shopee is. So these are management, these are business related, these are e-commerce business. When we say e-commerce, meaning electronic commerce, meaning it's an online purchasing, selling, no? So Of course, majority of that are not sellers. Majority of that are IT because there's no physical store. It is managed by different IT. Okay? Next, you could be a wireless network administrator. Okay? You are going to install, configure, and maintain the company's network, internet system, identifies and resolve connectivity issues. So, yeah, um, this is another job. In our institution, we have network administrator, we have head of network administration, we have network staff. So when we say network administrators, these are different peoples who are going to manage the connectivity, the policies, configure, limit, and the limit. Okay, the different access, so the bandwidths. No, let's say in our institution, let's say you are only allowed to access the Facebook between 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And then after that, Facebook will be already blocked and it will only be available beyond 5, something like that. So those are the job of wireless network administrators. Okay, project managers, these are the person who uh, oversees all assigned projects, allocate resources, select team, perform analysis, and program tasks. So these are the heads. Right? These are the heads. They used to do projects. They would assign it and make sure that the project would be delivered on time. Okay. Next, system development and programming. So this is very familiar. So the role of system developer and programmer includes analysis, designing, developing, and implementing new information technology, maintaining, and improving existing skills. So let's see. First is computer programmer. So the this is the first job that you might want to seek under system development and programming. So computer programming. So this designs and develops systems using an appropriate computer language such as C, Visual Basic, and Java. So these are the before programming language. Uh, but then nowadays we have a lot more. We have different programming language. Maybe you haven't heard some of it, but then you have a lot more. No? Maybe currently, because you are currently first year, you just heard C or C++. This is the first programming language that may nag-raise ng hand. Yes, go ahead. Okay. Kala ko may question. Okay. So, yun, no? As I said earlier, C, C++, this is the first programming language that you might encounter during your degree. Then followed by the different programming language. So you have different, let's say, in web development, you have different MVCs, you have different full stack programming, and so on. Marami yan, no? There are a lot more. Okay? So you might land a job as computer programmer. I don't know in Olongapo, but then in here in Clark, we have different BPOs. Actually, uh, we have different BPOs which includes programmer. Uh, some of the job really here are really programming. We have, if you heard cloud staff, this is hosted here. We have Philam software. We have Marugel, lahat, madami. Yeah? We have a lot more. And the starting salary for computer programmer here is 25,000. Okay? This is entry level for computer programmers. So in Clark. Okay? So maybe instead of you wanting after you graduated to be a crew in somewhere, no? To be a clerk in somewhere, no, that's not an IT profession. So maybe if you target that, you drop IT and focus on business management, okay, or management course because you want to, let's say you want to be a manager in in SM. So IT is not a job for you, or IT is not a course for you. Okay, so moving on. Computer scientist. So this is for computer science, IT, and also other computer related. So make research, invent, develop, innovate, make a solution to complex software requirements or problems. So what's this? Um, Computer scientists, let's say, for example, they are behind the discovery of facial recognition, uh, fingerprint. Now we have this technology called uh, uh, learning, in-depth learning, no? Okay, so this is it's like you are teaching a computer how to detect whether it is a computer, it is a chair, it is a wall, how to measure the distance between your phone to something like algorithms. Okay, so computer scientists do know that, right? Or they are the science behind that because usually they invent, usually they develop, they innovate. Now, what are the roles of IT? The roles of IT is to use them, use those invention. Like for example, me, I'm going to develop a particular website. Okay, so okay, I'm not going to develop a website and start from scratch creating a facial recognition for my login. It is already created by computer science. Then as an IT, I'll just going to use it. Okay? So do you get what I mean? Those are the difference between computer science and IT. Okay? You could be a database analyst. So when we say database analyst, uh, you are the database administrator. Okay? You do the concept of database. I think as first year you already have the database subject. Yeah. So uh, this is also another profession, right? The database analyst. So software engineer. So as I said earlier, you could be a software engineer, and a software engineer has a good pay. Right? Has a good pay. So specifies, design, implement, test, documents high quality software in a variety of fields, including robotics and operation systems. So software engineers yung mga yun. Those are software engineers. Okay. System analyst works closely with the users to analyze the requirements, design, develop new information, and incorporates new technology. So as a system analyst, usually what your task is to oversee the development of a particular software. You are going to oversee. System analysts do have programmers, do have database administrator, do have UI UX designers, and on top of that, the system analyst. So he will distribute the different tasks. He will assure that the system would work. He would assure that the system would be developed. He would assure that the system will be delivered on the client on time. And he is the person or focal person for the client, meaning the client would not going to talk with the programmer, the client would not going to talk to your database administrator, only to the system analysts. So he is the connection between the client and the backend or the programmers. Okay? System programmers. So install, maintains, Okay, provides technical support for the programming staff. Okay, so these are the system programmers. Technical leaders, so guides the designer, the developer, serves as interface between a programmer and developer and then the management. Technical leaders sometimes are not being thought as technical leaders. They might be, system analysts already. Okay? But some company do have this. Technical writers. So these are the persons behind creating user documentation, user materials, user manuals. Okay? So once that the system is already done, and it will be handled to the client. Of course, there might be a user manual, agreements, and so on to be handled and hand over to the client. So those are the technical writers. Okay. Next, we have technical services. So the role of this professional includes evaluation and integration of new technologies, administering and organization of data resources, and supporting the centralized computer operating system and servers. So when we say technical services, these are companies that would serve, that would how do we say this? These are the companies that would sell services, like for example, hosting, right? So those are companies that provides technical services, like for example, subscription of LMS. So there is company behind that. Like for example, the LMS that we are currently using now, there's a company behind that. The Google Meet, there is a company behind this. So these are technical services. These are technical services. So with this technical services, of course, computer professionals are really needed. We have computer technician. Of course, we knew what is computer technician. So this install, maintain, repair hardware, and upgrade, configure software, and troubleshoot hardware problems. So basically, computer technician repairs either software or hardware. Okay. Database administrator is also there. So create, maintains the data dictionary, monitors database performance. Why? Because let's say, for example, your Facebook. So Facebook is a technical service. So let's say, for example, the database administrator is in chaos. You will not be able to log in. Why? Because the details or the data that you are accessing is not permittable. Okay, so that is the database administrator. So the database administrator might delete you in the record of the Facebook because he has an access to the data. So with that, if he has access to the data, might be a possibility of what? You will not be able to log in Facebook. So those are, again, under technical services. Storage administrator. So this installs, maintains, upgrades storage system, also analyze organizations' storage needs. Some organizations do have cloud. Okay? Some organizations do have physical storage. So, yeah, no? Like for example, maybe you're not aware, but then let's say for example, Google do have different storage. It is not hosted in one physical company alone. It is actually hosted in different sites, right? So that once the server fails or the storage fails, it would have another redirection. Okay, so those are the tech storage administrators, and maybe you have seen in the movies or in the different documentation, server do have a different they have several hard drive, okay, wherein they could extract it, raid setup, and so on. So yung mga ganun. Web administrator, so maintains the organization's website, create web pages, oversees website performance. In a company, yeah, web administrators is another position. Like for example, in our institution, we have web administrator. He is responsible for creating the website, adding additional pages, editing the content of the website, uploading pictures, uploading videos, and so on. Having having different contents every day. So these are the uh, job of a web administrator. Operations. So number 4 is operations. This includes operating the centralized computer equipment, administering the network, including data and voice communication. So what is the different profession under operations? So let's have computer operator. Yeah, no, performs equipment-related activities such as monitoring performance, running jobs, keeping backups, restoring data. So good example of this are, let's say, persons who monitor CCTV. Okay, so they are keeping backups, restoring data, and so on. Okay, so those are computer operators. Okay, of course, in the movies you'll see uh, uh, CCTV operators are the police, no? But then in some companies, no, they're not the police. They are computer operators. And of course, the example is not just CCTV. Let's say another thing is in security. Okay, so computer operators of that. Okay, next, data communication analyst. So it installs and monitors communication equipment software and maintains internet wireless access connection. So data communication analysts uh, is keeping the communication efficient. Okay, so it maintains also internet connectivity. So it's like um, network administrator, but then it focuses on data and it focuses on the operation itself. Okay, this is more specified. Okay, so let's say for example, in terms of security, the firewalls, the data that is filtered inside a particular website, something like that. Okay. Okay. Next, training. This is number 5. So computer professionals are really into training. Okay. So this includes training and teaching employees how to use components of the different information systems and answer specific questions. So corporate trainer, computer instructor, help desk specialist, those can be computer professional. So let's say for example, no? For example, you are in call center industry, but you are a technical support representative. Then you could be a computer professional because why? Let's say for example, your account is Microsoft account. Okay, so most of your customers will call you because they have a technical problem in using their operating system. Then you are a computer professional. Okay. Now, what else? Corporate trainer. What is this? Let's say, for example, you are hired in Google, so you are a corporate trainer in search engine optimization. Okay, so those are examples. Okay, you could be a computer instructor, so you are also considered as computer professional. Why? Because you're teaching a lot of computing subjects. Okay. Next, security. This includes developing and enforcing policies that are designed to safeguard an organization's data and information from unauthorized users. So nowadays, no, nako, we have a lot of attackers in websites, in different websites. If Saint Benil do have a websites and doesn't have any firewall protection, they will be attacked. They will be exposed. Why? Because they have public IP. Okay, they have public IP. Now, in here, we have a firewall, and firewall is not being inside the code. Okay, maybe you're saying that we are not going to purchase any firewall device because we could include it in our source code. No, it's not. No, it's not. Even the websites, it's not. Firewall services, firewall hardwares is a firewall that would allow you to filter the data coming in and coming out. Okay, so those are for security, and I think in our institution the firewall is $500,000. It costs us $500,000. This is called Fortinet. That would allow us to have a firewall simply because the institution do also have an equivalent bank. We have a bank. That's why firewall is very important. Okay, so you could be chief security officer, network security administrator, computer security specialist. So these are all under security. Okay, so that ends your lesson 2. Okay, so that ends your lesson 2. Okay, so any question, clarifications with our discussions? These are just easy discussions, no? Wala namang technical dito. It's just we did discuss what are the different professions that might lead you when you graduated. Okay? Any questions, clarifications? Now, if none, no? Okay? Just to make sure that you are still active there. Okay, type none if you don't have any question. I'll give you 1 minute. 30 seconds na lang pala. I'll give you 30 seconds. Type none. Okay, so I guess all is clear, no? Again, no, I'm going to upload your examination either Monday or Tuesday, so you have to take it until Friday, until after our session, maybe. Okay, so if we have no more questions, so that's it. I will end our meeting today. Thank you for attending our class and have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you po, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Okay.
Thank you po, sir.
Sir, yung exam po, sir, magaganap po siya sa next week, ganun.
Oo, next week na. Next week ko na i-upload yung exam.
Thank you po, sir.
Quiz lang yun, quiz lang.
Sige po.